Hi and welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is enjoying the summer wherever you are and that you are getting outside maybe to enjoy some live music. Today I want to talk to you about bands, but you already guessed that at the start of my monologue. If you like music and outdoors, there really is something special about seeing or listening to live music. Music has always played a part of our lives, and it has and continues to have a strong link to the military, be it pipers, fifes and drums, a lone bugler, or a full-on marching band. There are, of course, so many types of bands that one can collect. School bands, police bands, college bands, university bands, big bands, and of course, military bands. The list goes on and on. I should preface this by saying that I really don't collect military bands, but I know some of you are and likely have a fantastic collection or one or two spectacular band sets.
My bands were more happenstance, but I think they are a good addition to my overall collection. The first bands I ever purchased were two sets. Now I should comment that these were made of wire surrounded by a plaster-like material. They are too light to be clay and they are not a composite material. There is no maker's mark on the figures, and the bandsmen themselves have the look of an Indian or South Asian band. There are 12 musicians in each set, almost 54 millimeters in height, not including the bass, and they are reasonably delicate. I randomly Googled Indian band, toy soldier, plaster figures, Cornell, and I was directed to Etsy.com, where figures were being sold by a Bromley antique market in London. The seller commented that these figures were plaster, handmade, which makes sense, and dated back to the 1960s. And while these figures on the Etsy.com website were painted a different color than mine, they're practically identical. Perhaps someone out there knows more about them and could leave a comment. These next two sets are obviously plastic. They actually belong to someone else who was too shy to talk about them. The Guards band is made by Britons, and even though plastic, from a distance, they could pass for being metal. The next are a French Navy band, and not something we often see unless, of course, you live in France. These figures are made by Starlux of France, and both these and the Britons were picked up at the London Toy Soldier Show in December 2017. Here are two versions of the Fort Henry Guard band. For those of you unfamiliar with this guard, it is a ceremonial guard that performs at Parks Canada, Fort Henry National Historic Site in Kingston, Ontario. I'll leave a link to Fort Henry in the description. The first is obviously made by Britons and could either be an unboxed set number 2178, it has the exact configuration as described by James Opie, or an unboxed Franken set of 2, number 2177. In all, there are 10 figures, and I was fortunate to buy these from Andy Morant of London, England. Andy knew I had a weakness for Fort Henry figures and reached out to me when he came across these. The next set is from a store that used to exist in Toronto, Ontario, but has long been gone. That store was LaBelle's. The band is number LABFHG3, LaBelle's Fort Henry Guard 3. 16 pieces and beautifully painted. I bought this set from Scott Dummett Presents, and it is similar to the Britain set. While I don't have the world's biggest collection of Fort Henry Guards, I do plan on making a video of my Fort Henry pieces at a future date. This set of 5 Fort Henry pieces comes from Scott Dummett Presents and is part of his collection, or shall I say his figures that he produces, called Pride of the Nation. I like this. It's got the 2 Fife players, 2 guards, and an officer with a sword. Again, a really nice job done by him. These drummers and band major you have likely already seen in an earlier episode where I showed my RCMP collection. While this is not the RCMP band that was made by Spirit of the Empire, the figures are part of what was available. Take a look at the painting around the drums. Really nice work. These figures are also Spirit of the Empire and are part of the series the company did on the French military forces which served in New France. This pair of drummers is, I believe, Le Compagnie Franche de la Marine, which I purchased from D'Artagnan, a store in Montreal, Quebec that used to carry these figures. The colors really pop, and again, the effort put into the drum colors is really nice. Several years ago, I had the opportunity to purchase some sets from the late John Tunstall of Soldiers. This is set number 245, the Governor-General of Canada's Foot Guard Drum Corps. Judging from the uniforms, I guess this was supposed to be from around the early 1900s, maybe. Like the Fort Henry Guards, I'm partial to the GG's Guards and will likely do a future video on that part of my collection. The GG's Guards still have a traditional marching band which performs in Ottawa, Ontario every summer called the Changing of the Guard Ceremony. Unfortunately, the ceremony has been cancelled until 2023. Lastly are a set of the Canadian Guards Regiment Fife and Drum Band, which I purchased from another collector. The figures appear slightly taller because of the base, but they measure approximately 54 millimeters. I don't often see figures of this regiment, hence my reason for buying this particular band set. I think if you enjoy these types of military bands, you should check out the local visitors, tourist office website, or even the regiment's website to find out more information about when and where the bands might be playing in your area. It's a good way to support live music and spend a nice time outdoors. That's all for today. If you liked what you saw, hit the like or subscribe buttons. Thank you very much.